In today's video, I'm going to show you why most law of attraction advice is flat out wrong and what actually works to manifest what you want in life. Let's get started. I am a big fan of the law of attraction. I've used it in my life for years to manifest many amazing things. I think it's awesome. And I think the more people really understand these principles and really use them, the better everyone is going to be, the more we're going to raise the vibration of humanity, and the more we're going to be able to attract and get what we want in life, live to our potential, and all of those amazing things. The problem is, however, is that a lot of what many of the popular law of attraction teachers teach, they're basically teaching an incomplete model. And what happens is a lot of people, see movies like The Secret, or they might watch a video on YouTube where somebody's talking about the law of attraction, and then they start kind of doing some of the things that are taught, things like, getting your vision board, visualizing your future, using affirmations and mantras. And they do these things exactly as they're taught. They're very well intentioned, but what ends up happening is nothing, meaning that they don't get the results they want. They don't get those results that they're visualizing or they're hoping that they manifest. And what this does, when we're working really hard and we're not getting those results, that can lead to a lot of negativity. It's going to make us feel like we're doing something wrong. It's going to make us feel like we're losers. It's going to make us feel like we're incomplete, that we're broken. Those types of feelings actually can lead to lots of negative things happening, because like attracts like. We attract what we are. So if we're working hard, not getting results, and then feeling despair and anxiety because we're not getting those results, we're going to start actually getting bad results in the real world, and that cycle can continue. This is how a lot of people who get really interested in personal development and self-help and work hard but don't get results actually end up getting depression and getting involved in bad habits, bad patterns like drinking and drugs and abusive behavior and much more. So we do not want this to happen. This is really bad, which is why I'm here as your friend Ron to show you what actually works when it comes to the law of attraction. And I'm here to give you the actual complete model. So let's get into that right now. The biggest problem that I see with the way the law of attraction is taught is that most law of attraction teachers are teaching an incomplete model. So let me tell you what the full model is. It can get a little more complicated than this, but at its core, the law of attraction manifestation is very simple. You need 3 elements for a manifestation to happen. You need a clear outcome, a clear vision of what you want. You need to have a belief that that outcome is possible. And then, of course, you need to take actions to make that outcome become a reality. So you need those 3 elements. The problem is that literally 95%, 99% of all content on the law of attraction just focuses on that first part. It focuses on this idea of visualizing it and how your thoughts create your reality, which is true. But again, there's more to it than that. And that's why people think that, if I just visualize the future, if I just have my vision board, if I just keep saying the affirmation of this thing happening, that it's going to happen. But doesn't work that way. It's like trying to bake a cake with just one ingredient, like with just flour. If you just have flour, you don't have a cake. You have something that's not a cake. We need all 3 ingredients in order for our manifestations to take shape. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you are aware that you need to take some kind of action in order for you to accomplish your goals and for your manifestations to become reality. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. I talk a lot about action in other videos, but I want to zoom in on this idea of belief, because belief really is one of the big missing ingredients that a lot of people just don't talk about. We really need to believe that our outcome is possible in order for that manifestation to become reality. Neville says it's not that we attract what we want, we attract what we believe to be true. Okay? So that's a really good way of saying it. So think about your beliefs. That's like the bridge between that goal you have and that dream actually becoming reality. This is why it's really, really important for you to work on actually increasing the belief in your manifestation, increasing your belief that it's possible. Okay, so how do you do that? Let me give you 2 ways on how you can actually increase your belief that your manifestation is going to become reality. So one of them is to look at yourself, look at things that you have done in the past and things that have happened to you in the past to kind of give more fuel to that belief. So for example, there might be, let's say you're looking to manifest your dream job, for example. Like you have this new job that you're looking to manifest. So what you might want to consider there to increase your belief that that's possible, first you might want to think about, okay, what are some times when you actually had a dream and the dream actually did become reality? It might not be in the area of your career, but maybe you've had the dream of getting into a certain college, or you had the dream of having a child or finding your partner, or, playing a piano recital, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you want to make the connection between this idea that in the past you've had goals and you've actually manifested, you've accomplished them. The other thing you want to be looking at is just look at times when you've manifested things, like weird things have happened to you. I'm sure you've already had amazing manifestations in the past, correct? So just think about what are some times when you actually did have a goal and then it kind of magically appeared. That proves to you that you are a powerful manifester. So if you manifested one thing, that means you can manifest another thing. So that's one way to look at it. Just look internally at your own life history to form your belief in your new goal. The other thing, of course, you can do is look at other people. So the idea here is that, honestly, easy way to say it is if somebody else has done it, that means you can do it as well. So what you want to do is, if you have this idea of getting your dream job, using this example, what are other examples of people making their dream job happen, of them manifesting their dream job? I'm sure you could find tons of examples about this. Tons, right? And of course, these days, go on Google, go on ChatGPT, and you can get an extensive list of many, many, many people finding their dream job. And then, so the more you actually do this, this actually allows you to actually condition yourself to believe that your goal, your outcome that you're looking to manifest is possible. So when we're doing this, when we have our vision, we actually work on forming that belief. And of course, we back that with actual action, aligned action, which I'm guessing you're familiar with. Then that's when our manifestations can actually take shape. So now let's talk about the next thing that a lot of the law of attraction teachers get incorrect. So the second big problem with the way the law of attraction is typically taught these days is that most law of attraction teachers don't talk at all about the importance of physiology when it comes to manifesting. What I like to say is your physiology is the foundation of your frequency. And you want to think about your entire body as like this energetic signal that if it's tuned to the right station, you are going to manifest the things that you want. So you might understand that on an intellectual level, but when we want to go to the physical level, what that means is that we actually want to condition our body to vibrate at a higher frequency so we can then actually attract those things that we're looking for in the physical world. And this is just one thing that really nobody really talks about when it comes to the law of attraction. It's almost like an actual manifestation hack, if I do say so myself. And the fortunate thing here is that it's actually quite simple to increase your vibration and therefore make your manifestations much more likely through simple practices, basic physiological practices that you're familiar with. These are essentially eating the right foods, getting the right amount of sleep, and moving your body regularly. If you just simply do these things, it actually raises the vibration of your cells and it is going to allow you to manifest a lot better. And one of the other things I like to say along these lines is that the easiest way to stay in a high vibration, that's going to allow you to manifest better is to not do things that keep you in a low vibration. Sounds simple. And what is one of the worst things we can do that keeps us in a low vibration? It's putting bad food into our body, specifically processed foods, processed sugar, and flour. Those, I would say, are probably the three worst things that you can put into your body. So just by eliminating these types of things, this actually is going to tune your signal to manifest better. So this is one of the critical things that's going to allow you to become a powerful manifester. It's simply eliminating the bad foods, eating better foods, making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep, and of course, making sure you get regular movement. One of the things I like to think about when it comes to movement is that the universe is expanding. So if we want to align with the universe, we need to be in motion as well. That's another reason why moving our bodies keeps us in alignment, keeps us in a high vibration, and it allows us to manifest the things that we are looking for. Okay, so the final thing that most law of attraction teachers get wrong is this idea of acting as if. In almost every law of attraction book you read, you're going to read some version of this idea of stepping into your ideal future or whatever that thing you want to manifest is, whether it's a car or a certain amount of money, and then feeling what it's like to have that money and then acting as if you already have it. So that sounds good in theory and kind of like energetically, if we look at the way quantum physics works, it actually makes sense. However, the problem is that practically this doesn't really work. That is the problem. Because what happens is when you try to like kind of force that feeling, oftentimes, that lizard part of our brain is just telling you, look, what are you talking about? You're a loser. You don't have a Ferrari, you're friggin' broke, you're living with your parents, or whatever. So, and then that creates essentially negative feelings and a negative cycle, kind of like I was talking about earlier. And that actually can lead to negative manifestations, or it can simply lead to us staying stuck. So, because the reason was is because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to quote unquote act as if, and again, leads to negativity, leads to negative manifestations. So the better thing to do is to focus on what I learned from Richard Dot's, this idea of the magic feeling. So what that means is that instead of like really looking specifically at what it's going to feel like to have that Ferrari or to have the house or whatever you're looking for, two things you can do instead. And both of them require a light touch. Both of them require you just to relax into the state. So one of them is just focus on the feeling of abundance. Just imagine what it's like to feel feelings of effortless abundance. And just allow that feeling to come up to the surface. The key here is don't stress, don't try. It's supposed to be easy. You're not doing it wrong. I promise you that you're not doing it wrong. The second thing you can do, instead of trying to act as if you have the Ferrari, just imagine how awesome it would be to have the Ferrari. Just ask what would be awesome about having that Ferrari. Or once you have X amount of money, what would be awesome about that? What would you spend that money on? And just allow your mind to kind of dance a little bit around this idea. So just like relax into it. Don't stress. That's the key. The thing is, when you do this, this allows those high vibrational feelings to well up to the surface, and then that's going to allow your manifestation to become quicker or to happen quicker. This also helps ground that belief that we talked about earlier. So don't act as if, instead just relax into that magic feeling. And so when you do all of these things, what this does, it creates this high vibration backed by belief, and then you're going to be taking the right actions. And of course, if we're taking care of our physiology, then we're also going to be, again, vibrating at a higher level. We're going to have more energy to actually take those actions, and then things really start to snowball in a positive way. So I hope you find that awesome, because it is awesome. And I hope you take this advice to heart and you actually do the things I'm talking about. In my next video, I'm going to show you my favorite high frequency mantra that will rewire your energy for infinite abundance. I'll see you there. And in the meantime, be sure to like and subscribe to this video if you're first time here. This is Ron Reich, keeping awesome.